Hello and welcome to another Crusader Kings 3 developer diary. Now, before we get into it, just a couple of points to point out. My son has brought home another plague from daycare, so if the music skips at all, then just assume that I've had to pause the recording to go cough or sneeze or something like that. Because, yeah, pretty sick. It ain't fun. Bloody plague factories, those daycares. Anyway, second point. It seems that my dislike, I guess would be the best way of putting it, for the trait that, gave you a notice on your death that we saw in the previous dev diary. It seems I was fairly much in the minority there, which definitely surprised me. We did also got a bit of clarification on how exactly it works. And basically, when your time is up, when the game decides, oh, by the way, you're dead now, instead of, being dead, it'll instead say, oh, by the way, you've got another year. So it's a life extender. Like, it's a year life extender as well. I'm still not in favor of it, but I mean, I can sort of see why people like it. I just don't. I don't think my opinion's really going to change on that one, I'm afraid. But anyway, let's get into today's dev diary, the diplomacy lifestyle. So, let's have a look and see what we're going to be getting here. Welcome back, everyone. It's Tuesday, and that means I, Petter, also known as Voff on the forums, am here to talk about lifestyles once again. Oh, come on, I can hear you at the back there groaning. In my day, we've been felt lucky to get such an in-depth rundown of a new system. Don't worry, though, we're through the lifestyle soon. So I guess they sort of realize that they're going a little bit too hard on the lifestyles. There are a lot of lifestyles, so, I mean, if you're going to show them, then, I mean, it's going to take a while, I guess. You're going to have quite a few weeks dedicated to them. If you decide to do one, you've got to do them all. So, yeah, I mean, I understand it. I will be happy to move on from lifestyles, though. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. This time we're going to be going into detail on the diplomacy lifestyle. It should require little introduction. We've all been there, trying to befriend our neighbours while sending gifts to our vassals to keep them from being too annoyed. We'll also be looking at the flip side, of course. Considering the name of Paradox's engine, Clausewitz, we're all too familiar with the aphorism that war is the continuation of the diplomacy lifestyle by other means. Yeah. Okay. Diplomacy contains the following focuses. So we've got foreign affairs, we've got majesty, and we have family. So foreign affairs gives you just straight +3 diplomacy, majesty gives +1 diplomacy and some prestige, and then family gives +2 diplomacy and +25% fertility. Very standard stuff, I guess. So foreign affairs is for when you need that kick to your diplomacy skill to prevent your neighbour, vassals, liege, and or your own sons from declaring war upon you. Majesty is for when you need a little bit more prestige to keep you going. And family is the diplomacy skill to keep the peace at home, as well as a fertility boost to make sure your home keeps growing. Lovely. So let's dive straight into the trees that come with the lifestyle. So we start with Family Hierarch. Of all the trees, I want to start with this one because it starts off so strong. You start off with the Befriend scheme. Interesting that that's a scheme, but okay. Indeed, yet another scheme unlocked by a perk, and this one can come in very handy. Handy. Not only does it seek to improve your target's opinion of you, but to make them your friend. I actually do think that's quite... That is actually quite powerful. It's very difficult to directly, target people to make them friends in CK2, which was a little bit odd. At least I didn't find a way to do it. Maybe there was a way that I missed. But yeah, that's good, I think. That's pretty decent. It's a personal scheme that does not use agents, which will, quite like Seduce, rely a fair bit on the target's personality. Your diplomacy skill is also an important factor, of course. While there are many ways to end up with friends, the Befriend scheme might be the most reliable one of them all, as long as you're able to build your success chance high enough, of course. You're all familiar with the friend relationship, but in CK3 it will feel more present than ever. In addition to being a lot more present in events, they'll also offer a few mechanical bonuses, such as being better counselors. Oh, that's very good. Plus 0.56 for being a friend. Also, that means they are getting better at being a counselor faster? Or whatever they're currently working on is progressing faster because of being a friend. He's in the county of Camarda doing something. And he's just doing it better because of the friendship thing. That's fairly decent, I guess. Of course, not only does this tree make it easier to make friends, it also helps them... it helps them offer more bonuses. So each friend adds negative 15% stress gain. That's perfectly fine. Each friend relation gives 2 random skill points. Well, shit. That's really powerful. I mean, if you get 2 random skill points from each friend, like, how many friends are you able to have? Can you just befriend fucking everybody? Just scheme to make a bunch of people your friend? Get all of the points for it? I mean, damn, that could be insanely powerful. Yeah, very much so. There must be a limit on the amount of friends you can have. I know there is in Imperator, but is there in CK3? I don't think we've seen any confirmation either way on that one. The tree offers ways of ensuring that you'll find more success with your befriend scheme too. So plus 30% to your befriend scheme power. Alright, this is a really powerful tree already. God damn. Personal scheme success chance plus 50% against family members, so making your family your friends. Very nice. Now that I've mentioned family, I can hear you shouting again. Isn't this tree called the family hierarchy? This is all about friends. Well, my, dare I say, friends, is your true family not who you choose? Yes, I agree, it is, yes. Actually, in CK3, the answer is absolutely no. You're stuck with the good-for-nothing lowlives you get. What better then than to make them less likely to poison your wine? Close family opinion at plus 20, very nice. Even better, what about ensuring that future generations contain fewer of those lowlives than your current one? Children receive 1 to 3 extra skill points. And that's right at the top as well. That's really good. That's really, really good. But all these useless children just lying around, what do they ever do for you? Well, each living child gives 1 random skill point. Okay, so you just make all of the babies ever with sound foundations, befriend them all, and your character becomes fucking God. This is another example of a tree that is so good and so powerful that why would you choose anything else? But when there are multiple trees that fulfill that particular criteria, you still have to choose between them. This is another one of those. This is insanely powerful. All of these trees have got things in it that are just mega. Damn, that's super, super useful, I guess. It all culminates in the family hierarchy trait. Patriarch for men and matriarch for women. It comes with diplomacy bonuses, further increased fertility, stress gain reductions, and even more close family opinion bonuses. It'll be a rare occasion when a family member betrays a family hierarch. To move on, maybe family is not your main priority. I get it, it can be tough at times. The same goes for friends, honestly. Sometimes anyone can get lonely. Anyways, I recommend heading over to the official CK3 Discord to meet up with the people who share some of your interests. It's full of lovely people, so just join up, say hi, and be nice. Hang out for a while. You should, it's a pretty good place. Anyways, I just thought it was suitable to throw in a mention there, while also using it as a segue to the next tree, the Diplomat. So, the Diplomat tree looks outwards to a much greater degree, but one thing that it's good with everyone is improving the quality of your gifts. So, opinion gained from sending gift gets doubled, fair enough. As for those outward-looking perks I promised, you've got fellow vassal opinion, so if you're both vassals, independent ruler opinion plus 15, and can propose one alliance without a marriage. That's good. I like that. That's pretty interesting. Things like these, propose an alliance without a marriage, that's what I kind of want to see more of in these perk trees, because this is a mechanical change. It's not just a modifier or a it's not just a number. I like this kind of stuff. You read that right. You can straight up ask someone if they want an alliance, and then expect the promise to be held, even if none of your family members are married. Crazy, I know. There are still a lot of restrictions on who you can enter an extra alliance with, but it gives you a little extra space to maneuver when your ratio of sons to daughters doesn't work out perfectly. And perfectly is one son, many, many daughters. Because then you marry off the daughters, and then your son isn't going to have any pretenders to his throne when he takes over. Yeah. Alliances themselves also come with a little extra bonus now to further sweeten the deal. Each alliance grants +1, I think that's diplomacy. So yeah, that's really good. Or is it +2? Is it +1 or is it +2? Who the fuck knows? It could be this one, or it could be +2. Who knows? Anyway, moving on. If you still need better relations abroad after all that, there's a perk that helps your Chancellor do their job better. +25%, just a random modifier, fair enough. It's not only the Councillor you can improve either, and I know this one is likely to be appreciated. Fabricate claim on a county speed, +75%. Yeah, thank you. That fabricating claims was really quite irritating in CK2, so seeing that change is good. And here we're heading straight down into the less pleasant aspect of diplomacy. This might be a bit of a surprise, but there are perks that unlock entirely new CBs. So you can use the Ducal Conquest CB. Didn't we see this in a previous diary? Pretty sure we did. Fairly certain we did. You can do Forced Vassalization CBs. That's also pretty cool. I'm fairly sure we did see this before. Let me go and just quickly check. And I found it. It was in Dev Diary 9, which went over the lifestyles in general. And we had this screenshot, this image of the entire thing. And there is Ducal Conquest and Forced Vassalage. And we can see the way that this tree is laid out. So yeah, that's good. And we can see the family first one as well. It'd be nice if in these dev diaries it actually did show us what we're supposed to be, looking for. The way they're laid out, that would be quite nice, But yeah, that's where I found it. So yeah, moving back to the dev diary. Ducal Conquest lets you go to war to seize counties required to create an as-of-yet uncreated duchy title. Vassalize lets you forcibly vassalize an independent ruler of lower rank. Be warned, they might not make for the happiest of vassals afterwards, but that's what your dungeons are for, right? There are limits on how often these CBs can be used, and they're not the most universally useful ones, but in the right situations they can absolutely turn a realm around. But what's the worst part of going to war and taking what you want? Having to wait for truces afterwards. So, flexible truces, shorter truces, and no prestige penalty for breaking them. That's pretty good. That especially the prestige one. That's kind of huge, actually. That's kind of huge. I do like the shorter truces though. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat, huh? Remember that there will be other penalties though, such as how willing others are to trust your word. This perk does not mean truce breaking is free. Good. Finally, the trait unlocked at the end of the tree is Diplomat. It gives a fairly hefty boost to diplomacy, of course, but it also gives a nice little boost to independent ruler opinion. That's good. That's how respected you can get. Nice. Our last tree for today is for those who want to be respected and honoured for their rule. Indeed, one of the key perks will help your fame precede you. So we got in Life of Glory, level of fame impact plus 100%. As I'm sure you've all noted down in your textbooks, a level of fame are the levels you acquire by gathering prestige throughout your life. And speaking of gathering prestige throughout your life, you get +1 diplomacy per level of fame with with dignitas. Nice. Of course, living a famously powerful and honoured life comes with benefits. People are more inclined to believe that you have more honourable intentions, for example. So, sway scheme power plus 30%. And then we get monthly prestige per dread. No one says you cannot be both honoured and a little feared. Right? With the August perk tree, those who serve you will also serve you better. So you get monthly prestige per night plus 2%. And greater benefits from them as well, giving monthly prestige per powerful vassal on the council, plus 5%. Lovely. Even offers ways of getting more people to serve you. Offer vassalization acceptance plus 25. This is always a very difficult one to get people to accept, unless they were of your area. So if you were, for example, trying to form Sweden, and you got to form Sweden, but there are still parts of Sweden that weren't under your direct rule, you could offer vassalization to people who were in the de jure region of Sweden, and they would accept mostly. But anything other than that, like even just a one province minor or a single county count on the Norwegian side of the border, they wouldn't accept, which is just a bit weird. But yeah, getting that extra 25 might help. Probably not, but maybe. Just imagine that. People willingly bending the knee to join your realm. We all know you're the best ruler, of course, but who would have thought they knew? Well, they should know. Finally, here's one of my personal favourites. There's a little extra at the end there. Who's better to direct the chronicle of you and your ancestors' lives than you? So you can take the Commission Epic Decision. Oh, very interesting. Commissioning Epic starts a lengthy event chain where you can, in exchange for varying amounts of gold, commission a writer to write your family chronicle. There's quite a few different possible paths the effort can take, but you'll have plenty of choice when it comes to the to who authors it. That's pretty fucking awesome. This is definitely the kind of thing I want to see. I love that. I think there was some kind of event in CK2 that was quite similar to this. What I need is a classical tale of grandeur of my family, a poem about the origins of Huich dynasty and how we're destined for greatness. I only need someone who knows how to tell a story, so we can get Elfwood, Best Scribes, Lowly, Pantia, and then just no. Fair enough. Depending on the quality of the composition, you'll be able to acquire a lot of prestige in the long run once people have read it, or at least when they keep it in their libraries. Sometimes I ask myself why I felt so inspired when making events about the process of creating a massive piece of creative historical fiction on an unparalleled scale under impossible deadlines. I'm sure there's nothing deeper to examine there, though. Lastly, the perk tree offers up this trait, August. Uniquely, it does not only offer a diplomacy boost, but also a tiny bump to martial. It's a great benefit, however, lies in the increase to monthly prestige you get, ensuring that you can make the most of your prestigious life. So, the ultimate events to go through as well. I want to mention a little bit about the diplomacy lifestyle events because they contain some very unusual events in that they offer opportunities for slightly unusual ways of getting to know people. Several event chains are quite involved, and outcomes are not merely reliant on your stats, but also on the other person's personality. So, we've got here the Hospitality A Warm Welcome event. I like the look of this image. It's throwing me to imagine that this is going to be animated. This dude here is going to be moving. It could be so badly done, but it could also be, decent. I just think it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. I want to see it in action. The Modest Duke Malcolm is finally here. Tonight we'll have a feast to welcome our foreign guests. I've been hard at work with all the planning and preparations. Everything is almost ready, and I have some time to add a final touch. So you can do some specialities from Strathclyde. I recommend against it. It should be extravagant, more of everything, and I'll risk nothing by last-minute changes. Okay, fair enough. Lose 15 ducats. Court progress as well, or it goes poorly. Quite good. I like it. Duke Malcolm would have preferred something simpler. Huh. That's pretty cool. In this example, the outcome is not determined by chance, but by the Duke's traits. And since he's gluttonous, it's fair to assume that he'll appreciate the effort. Not all the events in the lifestyle are like this, but you'll see more of them than you will in the other lifestyles. They encourage a certain insight into your friends, vassals, and neighbours that will hopefully keep them feeling fresh time and again. I like that. That this kind of thing is what I want from the lifestyles, I've taken this lifestyle perk, so now I'm going to get these random events or new options in events that are going to be different than if I had not taken the lifestyle perk. That kind of thing. I do like that. I appreciate that. That's all for this week. A new lifestyle, a new scheme, decision, and CBs. Diplomacy has a lot to offer, and I suspect that many of you are already considering how to make friends and influence people. I'll repeat the mention of the CK Discord as well. It's a really lovely place, so be nice on there and go make some friends. Next week, we'll be wrapping up this lifestyle journey. Yes, thank you. With the Martial lifestyle, and I'm already now willing to say that we're going to be looking at some crazy and hopefully unexpected stuff. I know it's been a long time of only talking about lifestyles, but we're weathering it together. Bonus dev story. No new info about the game below here. Yeah, I'm still going to read it though. So, speaking of weathering it together, after last week there were a few questions about life as a CK dev, possibly related to the fact that I said it was a lot of work. One example of how it can get really hard is when stuff goes wrong, but it's all buried deep in script or code with no one knowing why. Last summer I spent weeks looking for a single humble error somewhere in the script. Sometimes you should know it's part of our testing process involves running overnights, where we let the game play itself every evening and then we look at the results the next morning. There's usually a bunch of errors, the game is unfinished after all, and even a release game is rarely perfect, and for a while every overnight was haunted by dozens of the same error, localized on line 307 of the contract disease effect. Now, crucial to fixing a bug in the game is that you're able to reproduce it. You have to know how to make it fire to check what's actually wrong, and to check that it's fixed once you think you fixed it. The problem was that none of us managed to reproduce it. Hugh and Mad Chase were Coda Matthew, Black Ninja, and I spent days trying to track it down in ever more elaborate ways. Every time it breached the surface, we felt we had it, only for it to slip away into the deep again. But we refused to give up. I refused to give up. No error message was going to do this to me and get away with it. I had this illustration commissioned to immortalize the occasion. Did you really, though? Contract disease effect, line 307, Peter and Matthew. Lovely. I'm happy to announce that we did find the issue in the end. I won't bother you with the boring technical details. Turns out a destroyed title would still keep characters in line to inherit, which meant the game was trying to send notifications to the holder of the destroyed title to tell them that their heir had contracted the disease. Naturally, it didn't find any holder since the title no longer existed, and started complaining instead. Fair enough. But it's pretty much the equivalent of hunting a white stag or some other mythical beast, all over a minor technical issue. Anyways, that's just a little story from the trenches to give you some insight into the creation of this thing. I like this story. Is it much of a story? It's a true story, but peeking behind the curtain, as it were, is something I do appreciate. I do like seeing that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's head on over to the forums, where we'll see if there are any dev comments to read through. So, show only dev responses, because we don't want to listen to the plebs, and scroll on all the way to the bottom. There we go. Why 25 experience instead of 30 experience per month for a focus as seen in the previous lifestyle screenshots? Tweaks and balancing. It's the same as other lifestyles, but we're trying out various possibilities to see what works best. See what they ended up with when we release the game in... can I look behind these emojis? Damn it. Looking at individual numbers from previous screenshots and saying... why are they changed? Well, because the game's still being balanced, of course. Finally, my evil scheme is complete. You have befriended Bishop Ferrant. Lovely. How does the skill bonus for kids work? Is it applied on birth? Is it retroactive to some degree? It's applied when children are born and retroactively for any children you have before taking the perk. Fair enough. Any so-called boring technical details you wish to share, I'd enjoy reading about. Me too. If I remember rightly, it was just some very hidden, deep, buried function call for getting clear all the things it was meant to do. An incredibly easy fix once we actually knew what was going wrong. But it was that journey to find out what on earth broke, which Peter heroically undertook and saved me from a severe headache of my failed debugging attempts. I looked up our chat history. There's one sequence where you describe something you found about it, and my response is, what? Followed by and then another 37 ms 10 minutes later, and finally 2 hours later, okay, so I have a theory. Love it. All these skill bonus point awards upon you taking the perk or becoming a friend, or either. Fair enough. Please stop teasing and show us a screenshot of England. And we already have screenshots of England. Not like this. I think it would be better if we saw clear chances for specific outcomes. I think you're wrong. I think you're flat out fucking wrong there. I'm sorry, but no. No, I don't want to see this. That's fucking boring. People aren't like that. People are not like that. You can't... there's a 33 and 4/17 chance that this fucker is going to love the extra effort I put into putting a candlestick on a table, and therefore I should... No, fuck off with that shit. No. Sorry, Bulladillo, I'm sure you're a nice guy, but no, you're wrong. Fuck off. But if it's out of the table... if it's out of the table, I was right. Can there be an explanation like Malcolm is gluttonous, making this outcome more likely in the event chance tooltip? No, you need to go and use your fucking noggin and look at... Alright, so I'm making food. I'm making food for a guest. Let's have a look at my guest's traits. He's a glutton. He might fucking enjoy more fucking food. Or, he's a drunkard. He might enjoy some fucking beer on the table. That kind of thing. Use your noggin and, work it out. You don't need to be bloody drip-fed this shit. Come on. Rant over. I'm sick, remember? I'm sick. Blame that. How far of a relation can you have before the game decides to just call them kinsmen? In CK2, the game could track grandparents and first cousins, but that was it. Everyone else was a kinsman. So you've put a fair amount of work into showing off who is who, so if you'd be able to immediately tell what your relationship to anyone within 1 or 2 links of you are. What are the effects of having a family epic? Personal prestige and renown over time. It's the getting backstabbed and having your title be sold at public auction perk. Yeah. Diplomat tree is perfect for my playstyle. Love it. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be using it more than once. It looks quite good. Will the autoplay mode be in the game, or is it some dev tool? The observe mode from several previous games will make a return where you can watch a game unfold. Love it. That's no... I'd say I love it. I do. I quite enjoy, observing games. But knowing that it's going to be in, I just straight up assumed it was going to be anyway. Do bastards count only if the world knows they're yours? Okay. Yes, then. Love the content and the style of Dev Diaries. Keep going. Yeah, I do. I do quite like his flowery language. He definitely keeps them interesting. Only one more lifestyle Dev Diary left. Thank fuck for that. Some more. Area code, what? Apparently code 936 was something. Please confirm a 936 scenario and your work here is done. I don't know what a 936 scenario is, but anyway, that's the end of the Dev Diary. So I do hope you found it interesting, you enjoyed it. Let's have this screen up because it looks nice. That was the diplomacy skill tree, the lifestyle perks and all of that. So I'd love to know what your opinions of all of this is. Do you like the perks that we've been shown? Are there any ones that you are really focusing towards as something you really want to do, to get to experience? What's your favorite one? Because I would definitely like to know that information, so please do leave it in the comment section below. If you want to keep up to date with all CK3 news and updates, then subscribe, and the bell thing's super cool too, and like button and comments and just all the engagement. It's pretty good. Share the video, show your grandparents. I don't fucking know. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dev Diary series that I've been doing, and I'll see you in the next one. For warfare, lifestyles, martial, and murder and all that kind of good stuff. So, yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.